Paladin Horner, where do we have him?
It's Phoenix.
Uh,
Right?
Oh wait,
You
Phoenix. Yeah.
missed a man.
Well, he's
Or
not
a
a man.
robot.
He's a robot. Anyway, yeah, Phoenix.
Yes.
Where do we have him?
So yes, we have the robot, the Phoenix man, robot thing, person. Um, just in case anyone's worrying, will Keldelis die horribly to explosions? The answer is quite simply, not really. And if he does, doesn't matter.
What do you mean? He will die, just not enough times.
Well, here's the problem actually. The time for the explosions to go off is such that if he has Avenging Protocol active,
He'll leap out
he'll
of the
already
way.
be killing that enemy over there because he'll already have eaten the entire wave for breakfast before the first explosion goes off.
Yeah, that is true.
Like,
that is true.
He's so fast at killing that he gets out of the explosion on a move before it goes off because he's already jumped to the next target and started launching on it. Like, he just cuts through everything. And Broodlings obviously don't matter whatsoever. Like, Caldelis is hot knife through butter here. So basically the problem from there is just, okay, so how do I keep my base alive? And the answer is probably, like, your best option is probably going to be, I would think, use P2. Leave the Robo champion commander, like the Robo AIs at home. So the Immortal and Warbringer, Teldarn and Warbringer at home. And hopefully Teldarn won't literally harm your cause.
Will a Conservator sieged up help you survive?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so siege up a Conservator. Will that work with buildings also? Forgot.
No, that does not work on buildings. But
Oh, well.
Another thing that helps is, remember, Warbringer's attack slow by, like, what is it, 80% their movement speed? So aberrations are going to very menacingly saunter towards you.
Okay, that makes sense. So you can even just have, like, Cadence and the Warbringer then.
Yeah, probably. Teldarin can help. I would say, like, Teldarin can be useful just because, like, if you want to, like, cover another front, stick Teldarin at, like, your allies expansion or something, and Cannons and Warbringer at yours, or something like that. But yeah, honestly, because of Teldarin's annoying habit of pulling enemies and making them accidentally invulnerable, Teldarin plus Warbringer plus Cannons is probably not even going to be any stronger than just Warbringer plus Cannons anyways. So, yeah. And then for your offense, it's just going to be the Gateway Commanders, or Gateway Champions. The Gateway Champions plus Phoenix suits shouldn't have any trouble just blasting through everything on the front line. And then the only difficult part is just protecting your shells farm, because if your shell farm gets found by aberrations, that's going to be a little messy.
You just remake them, right? Because they're not that expensive.
They're not that expensive, but, like, if you lose them too many times, or you just lose them in an inopportune moment, bad things can happen. However, on the flip side, Avenging Protocol is, regardless of where the target is when it dies, which means if Keldalis is angrily slicing through things and a random Legionnaire in your shell farm dies, that will instantly give Avenging Protocol to Keldalis and refresh his Avenging Protocol buff.
That's funny.
Even if he's, like, on the other side of the map, which has been funny in the past as well when I've, like, done Phoenix against Killbots, and Talos is just really, really angry about the Killbot massacre that's going on back home.
Okay. So where do we have him?
Yes, he can probably be, like, I would say he's probably B tier-ish, because he's got a really straightforward, strong game plan, but his static defense isn't that strong, so you're going to have to do a little bit of paying attention to it and working with it. But for the most part, he's just kind of going to wrecking ball with his champions while Warbringer handles the base.
I'll say he sounds a bit like A to me, but
I'd see him in A, but I think he's B tier because I think he's below, like, Megskin Dahaka, due to the fact that on the front, you're going to be a little spread thin feeling, having to deal with aberrations plus waves plus suppression towers all at once, and that's something that Megskin Dahaka wouldn't have to worry as much about. And then his static defense is probably going to need a little more proactiveness than Dahaka, and a lot more proactiveness than Megs. Megs is just set and forget defense. So I think he's the tier below, but I would be okay seeing him in the same tier.
How about you, Tutu?
I personally don't like splitting the champions. I like using all 6 of them together. I even get the Stargate ones because P2, gotta get all of them. It's like
Gotta
Power
catch them
Rangers.
all.
It's like Power Rangers. Gotta have all of them assembled together.
Right.
So, yeah.
Because he's Phoenix, and when you have all 6 champions together, they assemble 20 the Megazord.
Exactly. So, what I did was all the 6 champions are in the front, and then the shells are at home defending with cannons. And then when I need them, the Robo and Stargate shells are at home, and then when I need them, I'll teleport them to the front lines. And if I teleport them and there's nothing at home, I'll summon the Phoenix Zealot suit and I'll kill the aberrations, and then switch back. Otherwise, it's just straightforward Caldalis A moving,
Yes.
killing everything.
So where do you have him?
I put him in B.
Okay, so both of you actually said B. All right, let's have it. Let's have Phoenix in B.
I have
Alright.
to admit, part of my prejudice against Teldarin is I actually recently had a Brutal Plus where I got Teldarin and literally started losing. And it didn't actually take Teldarin out of my army fast enough to compensate for the damage he did. So we literally lost because I got Teldarin and he kept pulling enemies and making them invulnerable.
Aww.
Can you not research his ability?
No,
Or
because
not-
that's the passive that's built in. It's not the ability. If it was the
Aw.
ability, he'd be usable. But he's not. It's awful. Ugh. I really hate Teldarin. I hate Teldarin so much because literally, he has literally ruined runs because of that pull, making enemies invulnerable and derping out Caldalis AI. It's like Caldalis would have killed them already, but they were invulnerable, and now they're body blocking Caldalis while invulnerable. Wow, fantastic!
Feels bad, man. Oh, by the way, before that, without Prestige, where is Phoenix?
Probably. Well, he definitely wouldn't be A without Prestige. I don't think
Definitely.
he'd go all the way down to C, because at that point,
You can't rely on Caldalis
Yeah.
as much.
you can't rely on Caldalis as much, but he's still really strong. Like, Caldalis is still really strong. Although, ironically enough, I feel like if I was not using P2, I would probably switch around the roles and just use carriers on the front and Caldalis to defend the base from aberrations.
I
Because
don't know.
Caldalis, or at least I'd probably early on I would use Gateway to push, but like once I got to enough carriers, I'd probably just leave Caldalis at home because Caldalis with P0 with Tactical Data Web still exists with P0. It's just not as strong.
Yeah.
P0 Tactical Data Web Caldalis can hold off against infinite aberrations forever easily. Like if he dies, oh no. Anyways, we've got a couple of shells here. It's fine. And so yeah, like Legionnaires should have no trouble holding off the aberrations, and meanwhile just blob of carriers. The only worry would be that you'd have to be a little careful because if your carriers ever have their interceptors get blown up by self-destruction, your host, that's bad. That's really bad.
Oh yeah, like there will be a lot of self-destruction also because
So interceptors don't usually get hit by self-destruction because of how they almost instantly zip to the next target after the first one has died. But if it does happen, it's very bad because it takes longer for a carrier to refresh its interceptors than it would take to literally buy a new carrier.
But that sounds really bad if the enemy's Zerg, because Zerg is just like running under your forces. And there are a lot of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
Maybe.
not sure about the carrier thing. Like unless it's been tested before, I wouldn't really be confident that carriers
I've
can
used
just
carriers
shrug
against
off.
self-destruct pretty often. They are mostly fine on A move is what I've found, but
How about
I
self-destruction with
definitely like
Doodlings?
I don't think that makes too big of a difference, to be honest. Actually,
Really?
Self-destruction on the Doodlings. Well, the thing is, your worry isn't that the carriers themselves get hit. The carriers themselves really shouldn't get. They don't draw aggro from the Broodlings. It's not like the Broodlings A move towards the carriers that are flying. So the worry is not really that the carriers themselves get killed. The worry is just that the interceptors die.
So where will the Doodlings go if they don't attack? They'll go to Arana, right?
If she is in their aggro range. Otherwise, they'll A move towards the nearest commander structure they know of.
So more work for Kaldi? I guess that's fine, since Kaldi will
suit.
still eat it for breakfast.
Yeah, you also have Phoenix suits, as Tutu said. If you just put Praetor armor on the floor, he'll just kind of sit there and eat Broodlings for breakfast.
He'll washer them. he'll
Yes.
put them in the blender.
He'll put them in the blender.
He'll do the spin cycle.
Yes. So honestly, it's not as good as P2, but I think it should still function just fine, to be honest.
I like how we just don't. I like how we just gloss over how funny the Phoenix attacking motion is, since we've been so used to seeing it. He's a blender. He's a washer and a dryer. He's a plane engine. And the enemies are just like, yeah, let's just stand here while he walks menacingly towards us, spinning.
He's literally he is a sentient weed whacker.
Oh man. And the enemies, what if the enemies just like duck? No. Fuck, Phoenix. Oh no, I can't hit him anymore. My legs are in the way. He's too tall. Oh man, I enjoy that way too much. Okay, so is he still B without prestige?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's have him B.
He's like he goes from high B to low B without prestige.
Or how about high C? Still no?
Maybe, but honestly, like
So borderline. All right,
yeah.
that's fine. All right,
He's borderline both. He's like borderline A if he's P2. He's borderline C if he's not P2.
All right,
But he's
so
pretty
he's
solid either way.
Schrodinger's commander. There we go.